Welcome back to the Speed Tour for 2023. Jonathan Green and Ben Sissel bringing you the action from the iconic Sebring circuit in Central Florida. It's a beautiful day here, and we're expecting a weekend of this kind of weather, which is, I don't know, I'm used to it raining here and it being very humid here in Sebring, but it's sunny and gorgeous, and as you can see, we have a bunch of great international GT cars heading your way. And I know you're going to say, what about the historic cars? We've already had the question. They're coming. They're coming. We're not going to miss out on the coming cars of the historics. And we've got some great ones too to come in action, including Joe Nemechek in action later today, and Travis Engen. All the boys are here, but so's Ben Sissel. Ben, I know you love international GT. Ken Pengler will be up here in a minute, but just a ridiculous field of large numbers for the 10th year anniversary.
Yeah, we're celebrating 10 years. We've got 54 cars that will take the green flag. We just saw Geronimo Guzman, Juan Lopez Santini there in those exhibition Audi R8 LMS GT3. Geronimo's in the Evo, and Geronimo finished second in the last race, but is first on the grid. So we'll see what that's about when Ken comes up here, then Tom Pank. We've got Reg Williams. We've got a lot of different cars, a lot of different people out here. That's the number 67. That's Bob Neopol. There's Dave Tuwati there with TLM out of Miami. He's got the Miami Flair. He had a great race with us here just this morning. You see the fixie wheels on the mirror. He was sporting some beautiful gold fixie wheels at Daytona. And there's the number 88 of Nathan Bird. Nathan Bird is running in just about everything. Last year, he was doing almost all open seaters and some of these Porsche GT3, but he's going to be with us, he said, in Group 10, in International GT, and in SGT with Trans Am.
Wow.
So look
busy,
for Nathan Bird. Yeah, busy. It's an understatement. That's Scott Blind. I like that his name is Blind because you can't miss from seeing that car there, that, what do you call that, day glow yellow with the Jester skull there.
That's my drone pilot, Juan Garcia, flying low there for Scott Blind, who isn't by any means. You'd have to be blind to have those colors on all day, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd go blind wearing those colors.
And then we had a lot of fans for Marcos Vento last time. That's Marcos Vento in a 3.8. 2015 Porsche GT3 Cup. So if you're joining us on Speedtour TV on YouTube, I'm watching the YouTube channel. Rowdy Ruffian is saying, go Audi. And Eich said, just woke me up then when we came back on board. So I love it. I hope you guys are having fun. Where are you watching from? Who are you rooting for? And there's my man right there, Juan Gonzalez and the Mission Foods. Happy Porsche there. It's so great to have Mission Foods here and Juan Gonzalez. And Juan Gonzalez's son is racing with us. He kind of took a 4-year hiatus to give Juan Gonzalez a grandson and is back out there as they come out onto grid on Mission Foods Turn 17. But man, it's been a great day of racing, Jonathan.
Oh yeah, beautiful day. It's hot out there and it's going to be hot inside, but most of them got the cool suits on. Just to explain International GT, if you're not quite familiar with it, but as you can see, as we look at the famous 58 Brumers Porsche, but it's basically Porsches and Ferraris with a few Audis thrown in. They're kind of known as an exhibition class simply because we've only got, what, 2 of them at the moment, but we're expecting more. We've had the Lamborghini out there, but it's mainly Stuttgart, as in Porsche, and Maranello, as in Ferrari, for your 2 cup competitions. And then you have different iterations of the Porsche, whether it be a GT4 or whether it be a Cayman, whatever it might be.
Yeah, we've had 3 6s, 3 8s, 4 liters, 4 Improve, which is the 4i. We've had 4 Rs. We've had Audis, McLarens, BMWs, AMG, Mercedes, but most of it is kind of a Porsche Cup and the Maranello Cup with the Ferraris. And so we've got the Mission Foods GT3. That's for the GT3 cars. That's the basically what I call the 911 chassis. And then the Stuttgart, which is the Caymans, which is one of the fastest growing groups in motorsports right now. And the Caymans have those 3.8s and the 4 liters.
Why
just so much fun.
Is it just a price point, or?
I think they're just such badass cars. And the price point is amazing on them. The amount of... They're basically an affordable supercar. And here they are here.
I say price point. It is a Porsche, so we're in rarefied air at that point, but relatively so to, let's say, a 911 GTR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the bang for the buck racing for a Porsche, that's the way to go. Super reliable, really well balanced, and a lot of great racing in the Stuttgart Cup. And we're going to see a split start with that as our man Tony Garcia is getting some great shots.
Yeah, such is the size of this field. We're having to split them up, which is quite a good idea, because you couldn't really have 54 cars all roaring to turn one. Might be a bit of a mess in the end.
So I'm hearing from Brady Berman. Finally got his name right. He was with us at Daytona. I've been saying Bierman all year. So Brady, wish you were here.
It's Berman.
Yeah, so he's missing us from Virginia. Maybe if we start pronouncing his name right, he'll start coming back to races. So Brady, thanks for joining in the comments.
In my defense, if you put a beer in front of me, I'm going to say beer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fine. And then we've got Dubhead 666. Hope to see more. The GT3s in the USA. Rowdy Ruffian saying hi. A posse of Porsches. So thanks for joining us. If you have some insight on these cars or drivers, please leave us there. Brady Berman, if you'd like to roast some of these drivers, please leave some comments. And we'll get it going as they come here into the Bridge Hall Bennett Turn 7. There's Juan Gonzalez. You know, my wife makes fun of me because she's like, anytime we're like, where are we going to dinner tonight? I'm like, I don't care. Let's go somewhere Mexican. She's like, you know, there is other food than Mexican, but not in my eyes.
You could just take your mission chips with you.
I do.
Restaurant.
Oh, I love them, yeah. No, it's awesome. So Brady Berman saying, I got a beer in front of me and I'm back.
Oh, yeah, I tempted that. I just got a question for you. Do you think Mr. Guzman and Mrs. Guzman, when they had their son, they thought, we got an accountant here, so let's call him Geronimo?
I don't know. I love the name, though. Like, as far as like motorsports names, it's got to be one of the best. And then we got Guy Cosmo with the International GT paddock. That's a great name, too. But Geronimo Guzman, and he is a dental surgeon out of West Palm Beach, a very famous dental surgeon.
That frightens me when they say Dr. Geronimo will be with you in a moment. Oh, dear.
But get to know him. He's from Mexico. We had a lot of talking about the 1986 World Cup.
Of course.
With Diego Maradona.
I remember it well. Hand of God.
Yeah, and Go Tequila is a sponsor, and Provident Jewelry. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see. I'd like to see why Geronimo's ahead of Juan Lopez Santini, both with ARK Motorsports. They're teammates together, but let's see what happens here at the green flag. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, Brady Berman, Scott Blind, not blind at all. He'll be coming through the field. Looking forward to another Pank-Hammond battle. So, Brady Berman, I love this, adding some little commentary with us in the comments.
I'm all for it. Well, as you can see, the heat haze showing just how warm it is here as this host of Ferraris and Porsches comes to the fore, led by the two Audis. And as you say, Geronimo Guzman and Juan Lopez Santini at the head of the field. The lights go out on the Honda Civic as they come into sunset. But we are about to get a burst of light and energy from all of this field as we get ready to go racing once again at the iconic Sebring circuit. IGT's Race 2, led by the R8s. Listen to that sound as the flag waves and away we go. Race 2 for IGT.
Nathan Bird ducked out to the outside of driver's right, but it looks like Geronimo Guzman, Tom Pank, Steve Hammond side by side there.
Again.
Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 1, and it looks like Pank might have gotten Hammond. Yeah, actually, Pank got Juan Lopez Santini as well, and Hammond side by side going into turn 3. Jonathan, look at these sights we're getting here.
I know, fantastic overhead shots from the drone, and in a moment we'll see the second group burn into life as they head down the main straight in the back of your shot there. We'll see them in a moment as they come into turn 1, but a great start once again. Here we go. That's 2 by 2 through the first turn.
Look at all the spectators on the new bleachers there at the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 3.
I've always wondered why they don't have those there.
Yeah, and it's a perfect place for it. Really great viewing. There's Bob Weiss in there in that orange car. There's Juan Gonzalez's son in that blue checkered car. We're going to have some great racing here at Sebring Speedtour.
Out of Bridge Hall for the first time they come. The two Audis doing what they did in race 1, pulling away at the front. Guzman out front ahead of Lopez Santini.
Yeah, Juan Lopez ahead of Tom Pank. Tom Pank got by him there at turn 3, but now Tom Pank looks like he's fallen way back. I don't see him anywhere. So we're looking for Tom Pank, and I think the number 42 Ultra Performance Porsche, I still don't see him, and you can't miss him. He's that Dayglow Green Porsche as they come through Bishop Bend.
Yeah, Rich Williams got a good start in the 008. As you mentioned, Hammond's up there, Neopol, Tuati in 7th now, Nathan Bird 8th, Scott Blind in 9th, Vento rounding out the top 10 as they come down the long Ullman Straight one more time down towards Sunset.
Now, Irwin is saying, man, bumpy place needs some repave. And Irwin, a lot of people disagree. They love the bumps. You got to hashtag respect the bumps here at Sebring as we watch Stephen Hammond really using that suspension. When they get on this tarmac for Hendricks Airfield when they flew B-17s in World War II, that's what these big blocks are. And look at that, Juan Lopez Santini ducks on the inside.
Whoa, he has his nose cut off. That was good driving. And both of them at it. But yeah, to answer your question, this has been a long debate here at Sebring for, well, over 50 years, 60 years, if you will. It opened in 1950, but it's always been this bumpy. And a lot of people say it would ruin the whole thing if they actually did resurface it completely, because it's got such character because of the bumps.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, they would lose a lot of business because a lot of teams from IndyCar to NASCAR to the IMSA cars will test here and spend so much time testing here because they think if my car can last 8 hours here, it'll easily do 24 hours of Le Mans, 24 hours of Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, Indy were here last week, in fact, testing here before their race at St. Pete next week. So Hamann in 3rd, Williams 4th, Tuati in 5th, Blind up to 6th now, Neopol 7th, Fayand, Gonzalez and Bird, your top 10. Good start from Gonzalez, in fact, in the 81 up to 9th place.
Rowdy Ruffians calling me out for calling out Irwin there for making that. They're fighting over here in the comment section about Sebring, and I think Irwin was doing it in jest. And there is Juan Gonzalez coming through with that Mission Foods, that beautiful bell there, this tower turn. It is really fun to watch these cars just trying to rotate around this. There's 18 different surfaces here that your tires are going to come in contact in just one lap.
The drone really giving us an aspect of how the field spreads out as the race goes on. We're only, what, a lap in, and already this field has massively spread out as they head towards 17.
Uh-oh. Seeing a safety vehicle there, and that's, Mark Matisse. Mark Matisse, one of our fastest drivers from last year. Pass there. Oh, look at that.
Nicely
done. The Stuttgart Cup.
That was a good pass too, because it's not a usual place. One of the Ferraris coming out to the outside, taking on the Porsches. Good to see. Into Sunset they come.
Man, International GT not disappointing here at the Sebring Speedtour. 2 fantastic races. That is a long back straight there. Yeah,
it does seem to go on forever. It's not as long as it seems from this shot, because we pick them up very early. That sign in the background, obviously quite some way, and the heat haze adds to it. But they're down it in, what, 2 or 3 seconds?
Yeah, there's our Colin Cohen there in our Maranello Cup Norwood Auto Italia out of Dallas, Texas area. He's one of the OGs in International GT, so it's great to have Colin Cohen here.
Mark Sandridge currently in 15th position in his GT4R.
I'm getting roasted everywhere in these comments, Jonathan. I love it.
What are they saying?
Oh, Rowdy Ruffians making fun of me for a bad call.
Whoa! Somebody went onto the dust of dirt. You can just see it from the drone there, but recovers well out of the exit of 1. Well, we'll put all those comments to rest now, because we have an adult in the room. Ken Fegler, not really, man. He's a little. Okay, if we're 12, he's 13.
An age, but I wouldn't say very mature. Okay?
Hey, and I'll say this, look at this. Brady Berman has joined us in the comments watching the race, so
yeah,
that's kind of neat.
Yeah, should have been here, Brady. You had a trophy for you last night. I believe you were second place in 3.8 liter class. We wanted to recognize that, wish you congratulations, and wish you best of luck, and hope we see you back at International GT sometime in the future.
So, questions that arose. Geronimo Guzman, who I thought in the first race finished second behind Juan Lopez, but he started ahead of him. What's happening there?
the way our program works is that qualifying, our best
And look at
qualifying
this, though.
session.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Juan Lopez Santini ducking inside, ducking outside, all over his teammates' mirrors.
This is great.
So no team orders here, is there?
No, that's it. Having good fun. But the way it goes is qualifying, best qualifying session of the two that we do qualifies you for race 1 and the Enduro. All right, the wild card in the deal is the fastest time from race 1, gives you your grid position for race 2. That's why. So, we just look at it and say, look, if you have a bad race 1, it doesn't ruin your whole weekend. And we're not going back to one qualifying. You only got to get one good lap in, and even if you DNF, that lap counts and puts you in a decent grid position for race 2.
So hard onto the brakes, into the bridge hole Bennett, turn 7, trying to get those cars to rotate. Those Audi R8s are just so well balanced. We've had some questions. How many Audi R8s would it take for you to make a class for these cars?
4.
4. All right, so just 2 more.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Ben, we're up.
Yeah, you guys
Team
are ready?
Sissel.
You guys are ready? Yeah, well, as you know, and he may be ready to switch, Tom Pank has 2 of them sitting, and he usually has one sitting in the trailer. So, who knows? We might see Tom join the fray at some point.
And Reg Williams, he kind of comes in and out and does the events that he likes to do, but a really fast driver. Tell everybody about Reg Williams.
Yeah, he joins us. His home track, his VIR. And, he goes back to doctoring in his, eye doctoring in his real life. But, quick driver, great job with Goldcrest. We have a number of cars from Goldcrest here prepped, and, really quick, good car, and is usually in the top 5.
All right, so it looks like Juan Lopez Santini still behind Geronimo Guzman, followed by Stephen Hammond, and another great battle between Steve Hammond and Reg Williams. Not sure what happened to Tom Pank there. Tom Pank, for a while, took over Juan Lopez Santini at turn 3, and then we didn't see him anymore.
I wonder if, Tom complained about very high engine temps, oil temps after race 1. As a matter of fact, that's why he eased out just a little bit, which gave the advantage to Stephen Hammond. And I wonder if that problem and that high oil temp really didn't rear its ugly head. So, that could have been, so not a total surprise.
Now, Rowdy Ruffian is saying, hold on, the second is a 2019 Evo. So on my timing and scoring sheet, Geronimo's in a 2015 Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo, and Juan Lopez Santini's in a 2016 Audi R8 LMS GT3.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's people on here in the comment section that can clear that up for us.
And, of course, a legitimate question you're going to ask is, what's the difference? And I haven't a freaking clue. All right, I'm a marketing guy.
Thanks for your honesty, Ken.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. I could make it up, which I usually have done, but I won't this time. I'm going to leave it to my technical people.
Yeah, or maybe some people in the comment sections know what that is, but that's for Zitza to decide, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So David Tuwadi there.
There's Leopold.
And Bob Neopol is in a GT4R 2016. Having a great race with David Tuwadi.
Were you asking about Tom Pank earlier?
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to him.
He's down in 51st place.
Yeah, he's pulled off. Yeah, he's pulled off. Yeah,
And Mark
he only got a couple
off.
laps in, and he pulled off somewhere along on the track.
Okay, our camera guys, if you're listening, they'd like to see the rear end of these Audis so they can tell what kind of cars they are there.
Yeah.
As we look, Mark Sandrich, another one of our OGs, is back with us in International GT. So cool to see him with Joe Party Vardy and Owen Trinkler.
Never say never. They keep coming back.
And Ken, I know you have a long, extensive history of coming to Sebring. We've had an argument here about you can't smooth out Sebring.
No.
No. Everybody would go crazy if you did
or
that.
Or repave it and change the character forever.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, the big thing about it, and you know how many teams come here to test, and they test for 24-hour races, and they run 4 on the test because they know if they can withstand a pounding flat out for 4 to 6 hours, we know we're good to go for elsewhere around the world. Because when Derek was in last night, he talked about the character of Sebring, and it has lots of character, and you can't take that away. The track has changed a number of times over the years. Configuration-wise, it was almost at one point almost 5 miles. At least there's no grass between the track anymore. I used to have to cut the grass and burn it between the two. But it's always interesting. And then the advent for the 12-hour of lights, that changed things pretty dramatically. I did a few drives here before they put lights in, and it is dark as can be out there. And I made the mistake of just following the guy in front of me because I thought he knew where he was going. And next thing you know, I was looking at cows, and and the racetrack was over there. And so we did a little tour and out there, but we did make our way back onto the track and find our way. But it was dark black.
What's the hardest corner? Look at this Bridgehold-Bennett corner. I always think of this as being the toughest, heaviest braking, but also a good overtake. But technically, what's the hardest for you?
I don't know. They're all different. Okay, I think the key to success here, I think everybody will say is, and given the terrain, which is it is like off-road terrain, is 17. You're leading on to the fast part of the racetrack. There's so many bumps and undulations there, and setting up to go into 17 is just absolute critical.
So we're over the halfway point now in this second IGT race. Guzman and Santini continuing to lead, and the exhibition class pulling well ahead of the regulars.
I see Nathan Bird on in the top 10. The 10. He's been a busy boy this weekend, driving a number of cars, and a very quick young driver. We have a number of young drivers, here, and we'd like to again congratulate. Speaking of young drivers, second generation, Lucas Pank, who won the championship last year. He hasn't had a good weekend. He's struggled and right out of the box. So it hasn't been stellar. But he went home with a watch last night. So from Detroit Watch Company. So not so bad.
Mark Sandridge there in that Brumos Porsche. Beautiful car. So great to have him back. But you're right, Nathan Bird, Juan Gonzalez were going at it. And now there's James Hammond at the front end of a group here. And that's the great thing about International GT is there's so many different classes, so many people to race with. But with a field of, 54 cars, you're always going to find somebody to really go head-to-head with.
Yeah, there should be somebody out there. You were saying, Ben, and I think I know why, you were so excited to see Mark Sandridge back, knowing that we'll be at Mid-Ohio, and he'll actually bring the family out and cook the ribs from Sandridge Foods. And I know I'm excited about that, having those ribs at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, one of the best nights of food that we'll have, so that's so much fun to have him out. And he just brings a great smile to the paddock as he makes a pass there on James Hammond, Stephen Hammond's dad. They laughed at me one time because I kept calling him Stephen Hammond's dad. And as a dad, I know what that's like.
Yeah, well, last night he recognized, he said Stephen Hammond's sponsor is what he called him, okay?
Exactly.
And he promised that once he's done with his medical school stint, that he will be able to pay him back. So he's promised him that. Knowing Stephen, he'll hold true to his promise.
Now, this Stuttgart Cup is blowing up. The original vision of International GT, finally, about 9-10 years later, it's catching on.
Yeah, we had a good run and go of it from 2008 to 2012. The original concept was the Inter Series. Bill Riddell was heavily involved in that, and that's why he came out, and said, let's do the Stuttgart Cup. And that was sponsored by Chicago auto dealer Napleton, and it ran its course over 4 years, culminating with a Cayman Daytona 24-hour win. Shane Lewis in that car, who's partnered up here with Bill Riddell. And so, with a Daytona win, it was kind of like, what else could we do? So at that, and it just kind of went on the vine. But, it was in 2008 when we brought that to, Porsche did not want to see the Cayman as a race car. Their race car was a 911, didn't want to know anything about, the Cayman being a race car. But at the time, it was not selling that well, and they were very happy to sell 70 cars, as you can imagine, that were turned into race cars. So quietly, it took note and took feel. And they looked at it, and it's such a great platform. And there's a Porsche series with Caymans now, a number of them, and so it's really a great way to go. A little easier car to drive than the 911 based cars, but still lots of fun.
And speaking of Juan Lopez Santini, Another one of our OGs has joined us in the comments. Rob Blake says, hi, Ken and Ben. Rob Blake, we miss having you out here, but you know that you're doing well when we've got 54 cars on track and we still have drivers at home watching.
That's great. Fantastic. Good to hear from you, Rob. Hope to see you back soon. You know, I'm sure it's not easy for you to sit there as a spectator and watch these guys, especially when there's such good competition throughout the field and knowing that you could be one of them.
But sometimes, you know, with business, this has to take a back seat, so we understand, but just love when they come back and race with us whenever they can.
Yeah, and we've seen that numerous times. Mark Sanders is one. Mark said, I needed to go back as much as his sons and his family take care of the major part of the business. He still needed to be involved and needed to go back. And said, I remember one time during the COVID thing, I said, "How you doing, Mark?" He says, "Great. I'm out on the floor making potato salad." He said, "That's what I'm doing." You know, so. You do what you have to do when you own your own business. That's what the entrepreneurial spirit is about. You know, sometimes there's nothing to say that's not my job.
Well, there is Juan Lopez Santini getting the best of Geronimo Guzman, now leading in that exhibition class of the Audi R8s. As they come into the Bridge Hall Bennett turn 7, trying to get those Porsches to rotate. Here comes Juan Lopez Santini in that Audi, but he's got to be very aware of the fact that there's a great Stuttgart Cup battle happening just ahead of him, and he's probably not going to do anything until he knows that they can see him.
Yeah, certainly throughout sports car racing, that's the challenge, dealing with traffic and playing the chess game. And really that's what it should be. It's not rock'em sock'em robots, it's chess, and it's a thinking man's game of when the opportunity and setting up the opportunity to make a pass. Even if the car is only a few miles per hour slower, the cornering speeds can be very similar, and that's the difficult part.
Great shots of the cars coming down this basically 3/4 of a mile long straightaway into Mission Foods turn 17. And basically it's just a horseshoe that goes all the way around, and if the person will pan over, you'll see a little blue dot under the bridge that was put there by Jim Pace, our good friend Jim Pace, with spray paint for Skippy Barber Racing School, and he says that's the smoothest way around. It's not the best apex, but that's the smoothest way under that bridge, and I've got video of cars basically getting airborne going over those bumps. So as we pan here, look up on the bridge, you're going to see a blue dot, and that is supposed to be the fastest way right there. Perfect.
It is, yeah.
There you go. Thank you, camera people. I love it. So that's a little insight there that I probably shouldn't have given away.
Yeah, no, really. No, we'll keep trying it.
So, Rob Blake, let's hear from you. Is this hurting your feelings a little bit, or do you like watching your friend Juan Lopez Santini leading the group here at Sebring International Raceway?
White flag is out. Last lap.
Well, Ken, I got to say, 2 fantastic international GT races here at the Sebring Speedtour. Huge field of cars. The growth is unbelievable. I know someday we need to be making a documentary on how in the world did you and Bill Riddell and Julie do it, but it's been unbelievable to see and see the growth. And just, I love, it seems like last night at the banquet, nobody are friends. They're all family. It's just a different atmosphere in the international GT paddock that they're fierce competitors, but there's like a family vibe to it.
Yeah, and we've tried to promote that. You hear us say it numerous times, and this isn't for everyone. If it's not, there are people that want a little more racing with more of an edge. Okay, and that's not us. We have good racing, but I'm not saying we're the edgiest racing out there. And our goal is that they all go home in one piece, and rubbin' ain't racing and all that you hear. But we're very thankful because it does put on a good show, and these guys are driving hard. And there's a couple of drivers here that have said to me, he said, I'm just gonna run on the SVRA side this weekend, Ken. He said, because your guys are so fast. He said, they're good drivers. They said nothing wrong. He said, but I'm just gonna take it easy and not enter, but I'll be back. So it's all good. As I said, we look for good drivers. I'm very happy they have professional coaches. They take it seriously. They're trying to.
Let me interrupt you because it looks like we're coming around. Juan Lopez Santini, two in a row for him, followed by Geronimo Guzman. But yeah, like Pippa Man.
Yeah.
You know, she's out there in the paddock coaching. I saw Guy Cosmo in the paddock.
You've got Lewis is here.
Owen Trinkler. Shane Lewis. So you've got some huge names out there coaching some of these drivers.
Yeah. Spencer Pompelli. And while we got a moment, I'd like to thank our new sponsors, Fixie Wheels, who came on last year, is back with us this year. Detroit Watch Company, as I mentioned, really happy to have them. The Renault Group, who's sponsoring and giving away that trip to Sheraton, Costa Rica, for our winners. Fantastic to have them. Plus, Stand 21, the premier safety equipment company in the world. Very happy to have them. And our regulars, Sunoco Race Fuels, Interlaken, Pirelli, Mission Foods, Speedcom Communications, all a great group. And, the good news is, as you know, we've had many of them since the beginning, since 10 years, and they've stayed with us, and we're very happy to have that.
Well, that is awesome. As you see a helicopter fly over, and beautiful days here at Sebring International Raceway. I hope that helicopter was aware of our drone. And here are the results. So Juan Lopez Santini in first, Geronimo Guzman second, Stephen Hammond, another great run for him in battle with Reg Williams, Bob Neopol, David Tuwadi just letting Stephen Hammond walk all over him today. TLM Racing, followed by Scott Blind in seventh. Juan Fayen doing really well in a Porsche. It seems like he's just wanting to drive a little bit of everything.
Maybe another championship in his future. He won the Maranello Cup in kind of a gimme, so to speak, because a lot of competition there. We'd love to have more Ferraris out here running, but nonetheless, he won the championship fair and square, so now he's in the Mission Foods GT3 Cup and see what he can do.
Yeah, and then Nathan Bird, great showing for Nathan Bird, and then David Harrington rounds it out. So, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for this, but stay tuned because we're going to have Group 10 GT up next at the Sebring Speed Tour. And there we are flying over Sebring International Raceway at the Sebring Speed Tour. And let's hear from some of our great partners and sponsors.
Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street-legal. Find the Hawk Performance Brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.